And this is basically what we came in for, the deeper Sierra. And we are heading out for some fun. Unfortunately, we have been getting hellacious air quality the last couple of days. Not sure where the smoke's coming from. Also, there is an extreme heat warning, so not a bad time to be heading for the Sierra. So we're going backpacking, and this is what Blondie brings.
Yeah, we're just running this down.
It's a little better. Great news. Well, I mean, the Jeep's overheating, so bad news, but we found Blondie corn!
Woo!
Guess what Blondie's currently not letting me order? And here Blondie does paperwork, because as a wise man once said, you can't have fun without doing paperwork. Therefore, by the transitive property, paperwork is fun. What? So we have had just a hellacious drive because the Jeep has a issue with one of the thermostats. So we have been babying it in the heat and with all the uphill. But we should be home free at this point. We have like another hour to our trailhead, and then we don't have to worry about it for a week. So normally when we come out here, we drive up in the middle of the night. Guess who drank a lot of coffee and like tea today? Normally we drive up in the middle of the night, get here at like 2 o'clock in the morning, pull in and like sleep for a couple hours and then go. We have to go in tonight, so it ain't over yet.
It's more relaxing this way. Evening is our favorite time to hike. And we get to get away from the car, be free and clear in the backcountry.
Oh, I like my car. So this isn't the rehab trip, which got really big. This isn't the pre-rehab trip. This is the pre-rehab trip, which somehow turned into a 7-day thing.
What this is the last full week of my summer vacation. So we are making the most of it. We're hoping to get all of the adventures that we would normally get in my whole 10-week summer in this week.
She told me that, and I was tempted to turn around because down in the Central Valley, we saw something very important to us as an adventure couple, which is corn. Everybody knows Blondie loves corn. Hence why I spent all of Kansas going, "Look, Blondie, corn!" Did that a lot in the drive up. She was not that amused, but
We're already had some adventures, yeah.
So it is already after 8. The goal for tonight is just to get in and camp somewhere. We thought we were going to be here a little earlier because of some Jeep overheating issues. We basically had to baby it. So we're basically starting out right before dark, but oh, fun times. We have been enjoying hiking, but we're going through a burn area, and it can often be kind of difficult to find where the trees aren't going to fall on you. So we have a flat spot on durable ground, and Blondie looks like she can't wait to say home sweet home once we get the tent up. Not until the tent is up, Blondie.
I kind of don't want to go inside the tent. It's so nice out here.
Camp outside. Peepers is okay with that.
Aw, but I also want to be with you. I'm super happy to be out here. Similar to our longer trips, once you're out of the mountains, all the stress just falls away. And we're going to have an amazing week leading up to my birthday week before I go back to school. Home sweet home for the night.
At long last, the best part of the day. Coffee time! Second best part of the day is usually like Jelly Belly Skittle time, but somebody didn't give me Skittles. And this was such a depressingly mild night, it kind of seems silly that we even set up the tent. Blondie was out of practice of setting up the tent for us, though, so we have to get back into the habit. So we are getting moving. I don't have videos to edit this morning, so I don't have as much to do in the tent. So I kind of prodded Jen to quit napping and get up and move. We are in the Cherry Lake area, It is a bit northwest from Hetch Hetchy. It is not particularly popular, not particularly busy, but Blondie said she wanted to get to a little further north in the Sierra, and we had been here years ago, and it was a happy area. So we decided, why not do a nice, relaxing warm-up? Unfortunately, that nice, relaxing warm-up turned into like 94 miles in a loop, so it gets complicated if anything goes wrong.
That's a good warm-up.
Oh, yeah, Jen is currently going through matcha withdrawal, so is not feeling very chatty or very friendly to early morning attempts to have discussions about the role of democracy involving a giant worm in Duncan, Idaho. She's just no fun this morning. So like I said, we were here before. We did a loop and a couple of peaks. This time, since I have basically been craving the state of being back on trail, we picked a bigger loop, and we're probably not doing any peaks because somebody planned so many miles.
Except for Big Sam.
We really have to keep moving the entire time. This is basically the last week of Miss Blondie's summer, and it will be her birthday around the end of the trip. So we basically just wanted to go get lost in the Sierra for a little bit.
You guys made a cake, right?
Yes. It's an imaginary cake with imaginary puppies for you to play with. It'll be great. Now our plan is kind of sized based on how I've been doing. We're just going to aim for 15 a day, which on trail should be doable even in my current decrepit state. Blondie up there has bounced back from her thing instantly, so she's fine, but me,
You've been doing more hiking than me. I'm recovering.
You've been recovering less than I have. Plus, you got one hole. You're 8 holes behind last I checked, as the kids say. And this is the state we're in, comparing, I got more holes in my gut than you. I've been recovering for more weeks than you. I did threaten to give her some of my prednisone, just so she could understand how horrible it was. It'd be like a sympathetic pregnancy, except it would be actual prednisone. It'd be great. But alas.
What the hell is a sympathetic pregnancy?
And today, on the adventures of things Blondie doesn't think are things, but actually are. So from the track I laid out, we have about 94 miles in a big loop. We have done about 1.4 miles. So I think it's mostly downhill from here. It's all good. As an added bonus, California is now catching up to all the heat waves elsewhere. So it is going to get really, really warm. And the last little bit of this is by the Hetch Hetchy Reservoir, where we'll be down to like 3,000 feet. We're doing some significant up and down here.
You could see Tuilala Falls.
There is no Tuilala Falls. There is a name on a map and a small like stream if it's actively flooding. But yes, we get to walk down by Hetch Hetchy and hopefully see another waterfall that just doesn't have a name that Blondie likes quite as much.
Falls. I'm excited for that one too.
All the waterfalls. But mostly this is just an excuse to get out after having spent far, far, far too many months around civilization. This is basically the first real thing I've done since coming off trail at Moab. And I'm following it up with even more stuff. I'm only going back to civilization for like 2 days if everything runs to plan. Then I'll be back in the Sierra on the east side, back in town for a day or two to end the Airbnb, and then back out here for like 2 weeks, and then back in civilization for a couple of days, and then out on the East Coast doing the long trail in the Bent Mackay. Hopefully, all of that could be derailed by yet another health complication, or the universe just finally putting me out of my misery. So we have our bear cans, 7 days of food. One of the advantages of the Sierra, of course, is unless we are really high, we generally don't have to worry much about water. Once again, Blondie, it is never cool to work at Arby's. Universal rule. So if you're watching this and you are disappointed that I am doinking around doing all this stuff instead of finishing the American Discovery Trail. So am I, but I am trying to be reasonable because that would have me pretty far from medical care if I had another HSP flare-up or anything like that. And there is a non-trivial risk of that occurring, per the medical documentation and the doctors. But Blondie is very sure it will just be okay.
It's unlikely. But I do like that as a result of this whole episode, you seem to have learned the word prudent.
Yes, the prudence of doing a nice, easy recovery fall, just taking it easy with 350 some miles in the deep Sierra Nevada, followed by 500 some miles on the East Coast, known for very easy trails, very flat, no rebar sticking out of rocks. I'm probably going to get Lyme disease just to kind of top off 2025. So that is Cherry Lake. We started at the Kibbe Ridge trailhead, and Kibbe Ridge itself is up here. We did it previously. It's basically just a ridge paralleling the trail. And we are mostly going to be heading north for the next couple of days, almost getting in range of Sonora Pass. Yeah. This thorny vegetation like this is something that grows pretty heavily in burn areas. If you're in more old growth, the trees block out a lot of the sun. Unfortunately, we have burn areas all over these days. And now is when I start to regret not wearing my hiking pants instead of my hiking shorts. Okay, this is more like it. More of this, less whitethorn, please. So it's August now. August is kind of my second favorite month in the Sierra. While early season can be really awesome out in the snow, conditions are very much variable. And I have been skunked trying to climb things because the snow was not in a good configuration way, way too often. So I tend to like later in the season. You know, you get to July, a lot of the snow's melted, but you also have the big storms. And then you get to August, things calm down. And then, for my money, September is the best time to be up here. Starts to get cold towards the end of the month, but in general, less storms, nicer weather, no bugs. All the bugs have died down. The only big concern we have here is actually heat in the lower reaches, because we're going to be up high. We're going to get around like 10K in a couple of days around Big Sam. But Hetch Hetchy, we dropped to 3,000 feet, which is basically where we were in the vineyard. It's maybe a couple hundred feet above where we were in the vineyard. I think we go down to 36. And that could be pretty warm. I was just telling Blondie a couple hours ago, I hope this gets Sierra-y soon. And here we go. And we are finding things to make Blondie happy.
Wow.
For her birthday. It is a birthday Blondie meadow filled with bees and allergens, and throw it out into the void. Tell people, hey, you can use this or not. And since we're on home territory in the Sierra, we can actually be all frou-frou and not use water sources like that. There is enough running water out here. We are not even tracking them. And that's what I was waiting for. High mountains. And Blondie is not fully experiencing these flowers near as much because her legs aren't getting scraped up by said flowers and their thorns. But a happy Blondie makes me happy. A log like that does not make me happy. That's starting to look Sierra-y. So that is Kibbe Ridge up there. I think that's Mercer Peak, the granite in the background. And we are going back there. Blondie is going to go live amongst the granite for a week.
I hiking through thick ferns like this.
That is why I was gonna let you record.
This always feels magical to me.
The first time we tried to do this loop was years and years ago over Memorial Day, and we got this far in and we were actually up on Kibbe Ridge up there, and it started snowing, hailing, and then it turned to rain, and that became the granite water slide trip because everything was flowing. So much came down, and it came down first as like loose snow and then it melted, that everything was flooding out. We eventually got over this next pass here, got next to a river. I called a halt, and in like 30 minutes, the river was going up measurably. And we had something like 7 river crossings in our planned loop. So that was the discretion over valor moment. So instead, we came back a year or two later over 4th of July, had a much better time. 4th of July tends to be a lot more conducive to high altitude stuff. The number of misadventures we've had on the Memorial Day massacre trips are plentiful.
That was our third night, right? Because our first night was like...
And this is basically what we came in for. The deeper Sierra. Ish. We're basically going to cross the Sierra a couple times here. It has been surprisingly warm out here so far, which granted, we're at the lower end of some of the altitudes out here. I think we're mostly playing around like 8,000, but we've been waiting for this for a while. And this is why I didn't want to drink out of those ponds. This is a water source. Dun, dun, dun. Further we go, the better it gets. Fortunately, we have another 78, 80 miles, something like that. Oh no.
Oh, good.
Ah, the joys of deep backcountry, moderately maintained trails. We were on something, and then all of a sudden, we were not. We can rub ourselves over even more plant species. We are currently in a full debate of where the trail is, what constitutes the trail, what's more passable in the right direction. And that is very up to interpretation right now. And then all of a sudden we have a clear bit of trail with ducks popping up and things. And then we are back in the woods casting around. I usually look for things like that, showing there was a saw crew back at some point, because that tends to last longer than, you know, foot tread or things with all this vegetation growth. We were just talking about how off of something like the PCT corridor, which is immaculate, some areas don't seem to have been maintained since like the Conservation Corps days. So you can still find the trail. I have literally found stone steps in Tapiti Valley under so many logs it was ridiculous, that had like a plaque showing it was quite nice in 54. But we have a lot of wilderness and a lot of canyons like this. Fortunately, the vegetation is generally such that I would rather bushwhack in the Sierra than a lot of other places. Based on my past experiences, when I was laying out this loop, I tried to kind of do a mix. Go to some areas that were deeper in like this, but then we're gonna connect with like Relief Reservoir, and that should be clear for a while at the very least. And then we'll be down by Hetch Hetchy, which is like a day hike loop pushed by Yosemite. So based on all trails, probably going to be passable. You never really know till you get out here though, and you get on stuff like this. It's just nice going. Blondie, will you stop losing the trail, please? It is really hurting our forward progress. Oh no, you were on it. It's like each little section of non-bushes is a reward for our solving the puzzle. I do have to say, having been here in July, this is making the water crossings significantly easier. It's a problem, Blondie. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Wow, 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 wow. So we have been rock and slab hopping, and then we noticed this. There was some metal equipment back there that could have been old mine waste. Makes it really hard to predict pace though. We have been bushwhacking in like over our waist sharp bushes. We have been on clear trail, good switchbacks, and everything in between. Maybe.
I do remember the sketchiest but coolest river crossing we ever did.
So these are often historical shelters that were taken over by rangers. Sometimes they were custom built back in the days where there was more maintenance and everything. They're often used for snow surveys, so people will ski into them. There are rare ones you can get into, but most of the time it's like this and no go. Somebody whacked at it. The nicer thing is every now and then the cabin is closed, but they have an outhouse that is opened. My favorite one had cowboy lifestyle magazines sitting by the hole. It was a good day in the backcountry. There's been a good amount of water around, but we usually dry camp, so we are heading away from the main water source, and we are going to fill up and just see if we can get by for the night. I know, Blondie, it's disappointing when you have had the awesomeness that are cow troughs.
It's so clear.
Yeah, I miss that like pea green soup cow trough with the like cow plop floating in it.
I don't. It's good to be back in the Sierras.
So we are making our way around Huckleberry Creek, Huckleberry Lake. Though previously we went past Huckleberry Lake here. We're actually going to be cutting off to the left on what we hope is a trail. Though after today, we shall see. Blondie, you look lost again. This area is just a trip, but there are these clearings that keep cliffing out on us. So then we have to backtrack, and then we find like a duck. But is that indicating this way? And you don't know if the ducks are reliable. Normally this time of night, I kind of go into overdrive and get extra miles. Oh well. And Blondie is happy because we have a pretty lake with a cute name. Welcome to Lake Huckleberry. Blondie is slightly impressed by this view, so we're currently debating if we just want to like bivvy out here in cowboy camp, which is awful tempting, at least until the sun goes down. But the sunrise,
Really nice.
we're not getting out early because we got to enjoy the sunrise.
Oh, I'm not usually intending to be awake for the sunrise.
Uh-huh. And I made what I thought was educated decision to bring shorts instead of pants. They were in the car, but unfortunately we have had more bushwhacking than we expected.
I think this is my favorite type of camp. What? What's my favorite?
Down by the river on Green River.
Oh, that was really cool where we could be right next to the rushing river.
You were way happier there.
I'm really happy here. I'm just trying not to be obnoxious because you're hurting.
No, here you were like, well, we could stay here or not. There you're like, we're staying here.
I really, really love being up in these giant expanses of granite. We've been in endless granite all day long, more granite than I can comprehend.
And a lot of bushes too.
I love these lakes with the dramatic cliffs that go right down into the lake and the little islands. And I love being able to sleep out under the stars and wake up with this view. We're cooking our usual beans and rice with first night black box wine, hiker wine.
I wanted a Bothic.
And I kind of can't handle how adorable Matt looks when he's all cozy like that.
That's a problem.
Home sweet home for the night.
I learned the word prude, but that's just because you keep telling me to stop taking my pants off every time I see a wilderness sign. What?
Put that on YouTube.